Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Fresh Take. We're on episode 3. I got T here. T, how you doing today?
Hey fools, got a good topic today. Let's get it in.
All right. Now, this afternoon's topic has to deal with diversity in comics and what that could possibly mean for your superhero movies. Now, this past week, Marvel, and for the last couple weeks actually, Marvel has been on the whole redesign with some with their new initiative called Avengers Now. Now, in Avengers Now, two popular characters are getting a different person carrying the mantle. I'm not going to say makeover because that's not what it is. Um, so I'm going to tackle Thor first. In Thor, and this is good, and I'm going to do a little bit of explaining here, so people bear with me a little bit. Um, Thor right now in Marvel, they're doing a crossover called Original Sin, where they're trying to figure out who killed Uatu the Watcher and stole his eyes. Now, if you know anything about the Watcher in Marvel Comics, he is a alien being with immense power that watches everything but can never get involved. So he knows everybody's secrets in all of Marvel. In Thor, he finds out that he has a sister. Okay, that's the short version of it. Now, the writer of Thor, Jason Aaron, has said that at the end of the events of Original Sin, that Thor does something um, to lose control of Mjolnir, basically becoming unworthy. People, Thor is not dying. All right, Thor is not turning into a woman. They're not going to hit him with a gender ray and turn him into a woman. Thor is still going to be there. Thor is still going to be the Odin son. Only difference is he becomes unworthy of Mjolnir, and everybody knows what or should know the incantation on the hammer. If whosoever is worthy of Thor will be granted his power, they will be able to lift that hammer. A woman is going to lift the hammer. They haven't said who the woman is. We don't know yet. We're gonna find out. I think that book comes out in October. We're gonna find out then who is a or at the end of we might get a hint at the end of Original Sin who is going to be picking up the hammer. It's going to be a woman. I don't have a problem with this. Why? Because they didn't do that. We're just gonna turn Thor into a woman. Thor is still gonna be there. All right. He's just gonna have to wield his axe. Gamborn or Yarnborn. I can't say it. I'm not a Viking. So he's gonna have the axe. Thor is still gonna be Thor. He's still gonna be there. But this other kid, whoever this other person is, when she picks up the hammer and has to fight, she's going to be Thor when she has the hammer in her hand. So,
Right.
you got anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I just want to clarify for myself even. So basically, what's going to happen is, uh, sometimes comic books get stagnant and they want to mix things up. Something like basically like what happened with Superman, the death of Superman. So basically, when he died, his powers went out to different characters, and they weren't Superman. They were those characters, and they basically could wield parts of Superman's powers. So that's basically all this is. For a time, I'm sure. Obviously, Thor will come back and be able to be Thor as we know him again. This is just kind of a side story where a person who, unnamed as of yet, will be able to wield Thor's hammer and have his powers for a time, and then obviously it will go back the same way Superman came back. So I mean that's all this is, right?
Yeah, that's what I got from it. And like if you want to know more about it, you can check on Marvel.com. They actually have an interview. That's where I got it from with Jason Aaron, and that's what they talk about. This is just a shakeup. There's nothing wrong. This has actually happened before. A lot of people don't realize this, but there was a limited series a few years back where Storm actually wielded Mjolnir when Thor. I forgot what stupid thing Thor did, and Storm picked it up for that limited series. There's nothing wrong with that. And you want to know something funny? When she picked up Mjolnir, she had all of his armor. She was still Storm, but she had the armor, the helmet, all of that, and she had Mjolnir in her hand. Even though I didn't understand how that would work, seeing as that she's Storm, but that's neither here nor there. Um, the but I don't get where all the hate was coming from with that. It should have been. Me personally, I want to see what the story is like. I want to see what that story is. I want to see how it goes, and then I'll make it. Then I'll make a decision on if I like it or not. I mean, come on, people, at least give it a chance before you start ranting and raving about how you hate it and all that. I
Right.
mean, it doesn't hurt to do something new sometimes. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I think you pretty much summed it up there. Yeah, calm down. Calm your titties, pools.
Yeah. Okay, so our next one is Captain America. Now, this one is I don't even think I need to say spoiler alert because Joe Quesada, the editor in chief, already spoiled it on the Colbert Report. We already know who is going to be the new Captain America. It's going to be Sam Wilson, the Falcon. All right. And this is the story behind this one. The synopsis behind this one. Uh, Baron Zemo is going to find a way to take out Steve Rogers' super soldier formula. Doing that is going to make him the age he's supposed to be now, which would be 95, I think. Steve Rogers is not dying. But he cannot. He obviously, as a 95-year-old man with no special abilities, is going to be able to be Captain America. He's just not going to be able to do it. So he has to find somebody else that he trusts to be able to carry on what it means to be Captain America. He chooses Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, to carry that mantle. I have no issue with this at all. Period. Because Falcon is one of those guys that he's proven himself in the pages of Captain America and in the pages of Avengers itself to be a competent hero. Once again, don't see what the problem is. I mean, I'll be mad. I'll be more mad if they took a 1970s front Ray and turned Steve Rogers black. Then you have no. You wouldn't hear me getting mad at all. I'd say complain. you know, if that was the case. But no, they actually have something interesting happening. Steve Rogers isn't going anywhere right now. He's not dying or anything. He didn't get shot. We had to live with 2 years of BS while we had somebody else running around as Captain America. I'm not going to get into that. But, they're actually doing something that I feel is smart story-wise. It hasn't been done before. Because normally when they do these, they kill them and then they come back in a stupid way.
Right.
So, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, can I go along with this? Yeah, you should, because you haven't read the first story yet. They just told you what their plan is. So you should actually give it a chance. And since we got Vicky from Fangirl Review in, Vicky, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm here.
Okay. Did you catch that last part?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. You want to give your thoughts on it?
I think it's cool. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm sure people were losing their minds, but
Oh
people
yeah, they
lose
were.
their minds just because the day ends in Y. So, I mean, I think it's good. I mean, let's shake it up. Let's move things along. Let's have some fun with it.
Okay. All right. T, what you think?
Of course we think it's good. We're all African Americans.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No, isn't that going to be the argument though? That's of course of course they have no problem with it. They're all black, but and that's not why I don't have a problem with it. Like you said, story. It's about the story. It's a cool story. I mean, it's a shakeup. And comic books need this once in a while. I know everybody loves to think that all comic books are selling great and there's no problems. The readership is up, but that's not really the case. We need to shake things up every once in a while to get audiences back in, and keep the storylines going. So that's why I think it's a cool thing, and it's not some guy off the street that's gonna be taking up a Captain America. We're talking about what's his name? I can't think of his name. He just said
Yeah, Sam
Falcon,
Wilson.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And that's the thing. Here's another thing. Half the people that are mad, they probably like Falcon. So why are you mad? And that brings me to this point. Now, when we start talking diversity in comics, we got to go back to the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. All right. Now, during this, because that's where a lot of these characters that people are seeing on the big screen now, they got their start in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. There's one thing in common during those 4 decades. If you were a minority or a woman, you just weren't being depicted as a hero. You weren't. I mean, there were some exceptions where you have Wonder Woman, but that was because of World War II and the war effort. I think she started in 41 or 42.
Mhm.
So, and that was because of the war effort. And if she wasn't that popular, I really believe they probably would have stuck her back in the back pages like they did with the Howling Commandos, like Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. They didn't really come back till like years later. So that's what the problem is. Like a lot, if you go back and you think about it, people just being rational, you go back and think about it. There were not that many minority characters or women characters in comics back then. They just weren't. Now, when the '70s hit, you see them start branching out. And DC, I had to give it to DC. They have been better about diversity than Marvel has. DC always has been a little bit better about diversity, adding different cultures, women in powerful roles than Marvel has. So to me, Marvel doing this is actually not such a bad idea, and I'm like, it took you long enough. You know, I don't see what the wait was for to begin with. So,
Sure.
I mean, I I understand people's concerns. I'm not trying to be complete, you know, uh, ass about this, for lack of a better word. I understand your concerns. My only thing is read the story first. You know, give it a couple issues. Who knows? You might like it, and you might get mad if they change it back. I remember when they this past year when they did the whole or 2 years ago when they did the whole Spider-Man Peter Parker Doc Ock switch out, and people got mad with it at first, and then they grew to start liking it, and then they got mad again when they switched it back out. You know, give stuff a chance before you start, ranting and raving and jumping on your keyboard and typing. You know, just give stuff a chance. Now, how this is going to relate to Hollywood, uh, you know what? It's not going to matter. You want to know why I know this is not going to matter? Because the Avengers are all on multi-contract movies. So Chris Evans is still going to be Captain America for at least 2 more movies. Iron Man at least for Avengers 2 and 3. Thor's still going to be a man for at least Avengers 2, 3, and Thor 3. So I honestly don't see why because people were starting to. I've had a couple of conversations with some people last week where they thought that it was going to instantly change the movies landscape. People, no, it's not. No, it's not. This is for the comic. Now, later on, who knows? But right now, Marvel has their slate up through 2019. Nothing's getting changed before then. So, hey, when 2020 hits, maybe you may see the female Thor on the big screen. You never know. But for right now, you're not gonna get that. Okay, you're just not gonna get that. You got any? What are your thoughts about that, Vicky?
About what exactly?
Oh boy, the the Marvel the shakeup that Marvel. Do you think it's gonna affect their movie lineup? I don't think it is.
Oh no, they have sat down and everybody was at the table and they really planned out what they want to do.
Hmm.
They're not joking around. They see the potential in making these movies. And as long as they sit down and they keep to their plan, they'll be fine. Because at this point, it is basically a soap opera of movies. All the movies are interconnected. They're all together. You can't see one without the other. You miss a day on soap opera land, you're like, oh man, I can't go back, basically. Like, you need to see everything together. So they have their overall plan and they're just piecing out each piece to us. Like, here's this, here's that, check this out. We're going to tie this A to B to C. Like, so they really put a lot of thought into it. They're fine. They don't. Whatever happens in the comic book land, that's cool. They might add it in, might switch some things up, but overall, it's not going to affect their money. They're going to keep going, and it's not going to stop me from going or any of the fans.
Yeah, yeah, especially people complaining. T, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, even if even if Marvel didn't have their plan as far as the movies go, I don't know why you would still even be worried about the comic books affecting the movies immediately. I mean, because we're just now about to get our Batman from our Dark Knight Batman, our Frank Miller Batman in the next Batman movie. So we haven't really gotten him yet. Yeah, we have Harkonnen, in the trilogy, the Nolan trilogy.
Mhm.
But I think we're not really going to get that Batman until the next Batman movie. So I don't know why, no, people will think, oh, the comic book will instantly affect the movies. Like, that's just never been the case. Like, even when the first Superman came out, the Superman in the movies, in that movie was Superman from the 40s and 50s. It wasn't even representative of the Superman of the late 70s. So I just don't know why people would think that anyway. And to go back to the diversity thing, you were talking about Wonder Woman being in comics in those times when obviously women weren't really represented in media that well at the time. Let's just face it. Let's just put it out there. The reason she was initially so popular was because she was a pretty woman in underwear. And that's what they felt like they had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
She wasn't even really given her character yet. It was all about, look at her in the little shorts. And obviously now she is a full-blown warrior. Like,
We'll cut your head off in a minute.
Exactly. Fans today, they know who Wonder Woman is. So even when they did give you a little diversity, it was just some eye candy for the kids that were the boys basically that made up the comic book audience back then. So and then to segue into obviously African Americans, we weren't represented in any kind of media at that time. In movies we were in the kitchen. I can't remember her name right now, but the first black woman to win an Oscar.
Oh, for Gone with the Wind.
Yes,
Yeah.
for Gone with the Wind. She famously had to go in the back of the auditorium to get in. She couldn't go in the front to get her Oscar. So, I mean, so obviously we weren't represented well. And, I understand when sometimes when people get upset about, it seems like these African American people they're doing it for controversy or they're doing it but you got to look at it from a black kid's perspective, a black kid growing up perspective. We don't have barely any representation when it comes to comics and superheroes. We got, we didn't get Blade and Black Panther to what, the 70s? Late 70s, right, actually. When it became cool to be black. 70s is when black was cool. That's when it started being cool. So, we didn't have any representation up until that point. And, we're not talking about Superman here. Captain America is a big character, don't get me wrong. But overall, 90-something% of superheroes are still Caucasian.
That's true.
You gotta think outside of your box, fans, please. That's all I gotta say on that.
And to add to that, I'll put it to you like this right here. It's sad when there are more African American and minority representation in Japanese manga than it is in American comics. That's
glad you said
sad. That is sad. See, I read both. I read both manga and American comics. It is sad when there's more minority representation in Japanese comics than there are in American comics, and nobody seems to have a bad eye at it.
Right.
So I like I said, I understand where some people are coming from. Yeah, this is what the character is. I understand, but at the same time, understand that there are more people than just you in this world. All right? Just understand that. I mean, like I said, I read comics. I've been reading comics ever since I was 10. So, I mean, that was 1990. I'm 33 right now. So that's 1990. I've been reading comics ever since then. And some of my favorite characters, I don't have any like really, I can't, what's the word I'm looking for here? Connect with any of them, but I like their stories.
Right.
I liked Wolverine's story. I liked Gambit's story. I liked Bishop's story. I liked Cable's story. I liked some of Superman's story. Didn't really like Batman that much, but I did like you
Oh,
know
sacrilegious.
I know, I know, but I did like the Flash. I liked some John Stewart Green Lantern and Guy Gardner Green Lantern. I liked some of their stuff because I like their stories, but I can relate to none of them.
Mm.
I really couldn't, but and that's one of those things where you sit up and you say, okay, you know, it's more people that read comics than you realize. So, I mean, I'm all for it if the story is good. Now, if the story sucks, then hey, you're not gonna hear me complain. I'll be the first one to tell you this is straight up garbage. Don't read it. But if you know if the story is good, I think you should at least give it a chance to give it a few issues. My rule of thumb when it comes to comics is a 6 issue limit. That's the first arc. If by the end of the first arc you're not compelled to keep going, then by all means drop it. But because that's usually how long it takes to get out the first arc is 4 to 6 issues. So my thing is just give it that first arc. Give it that first arc before you start making complaints and ranting and raving and screaming bloody murder. You know. um, the other thing I would like to get into this afternoon basically is since we had Comic-Con go on this weekend. We're gonna talk a little bit about our thoughts about Comic-Con. I don't know if you guys got to see any of the stuff coming out of Comic-Con, but in regards to movies, the Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, they actually shown Gal Gadot. She was on stage at Comic-Con, and they actually showed a still of what she looks like in the Wonder Woman outfit. Let's see if I can. Well, you know what? I can't find a picture. If you go to IGN.com, there is a picture of Gal Gadot. I'm pretty sure it's on GeekTyrant.com as well. That you can find the still for what Gal Gadot looks like in the Wonder Woman outfit. Now, I've heard some complaints already from people, but people, I want you to understand something. Anytime you read Wonder Woman and they're not doing like a regular Wonder Woman story, she's usually in the battle skirt, not the usual gymnastic leotard thing that she normally wears. All right, she's usually in that battle skirt. So if you have a problem with that I can understand why they went that route. Number one, look, it's a PG-13 movie. We're not trying to. They don't want to get in trouble for because they're already going to be. She's over sexualized to begin with. People are already going to start complaining about that. But if you keep it kind of toward the comic, where because I know in Flashpoint Paradox she was in the battle skirt. So I mean, it's some give and take. Me personally, I wouldn't have minded if she was in the actual the pants with the armor top. With the armor bustier or whatever, because in that it was actually armor, but a lot of people don't like the pants. I do, but people don't like
I
the
do too.
pants.
Honestly, I want the draws to go. Seriously, at this point, I could care less about her in the traditional the underwear outfit. I like the battle skirt actually. It makes sense. Makes more sense in a real world. They're basically, they're trying to put these characters in the real world. Obviously, it's still fantasy based, but it's still also real world based. So it doesn't make sense for her to be running around in a bikini. It really doesn't make sense as a warrior princess as she is. Like I never really cared for her that uniform. I like the pants. I like to see her in those pants or this actual battle skirt that she's wearing. I have no problem.
Yeah, and it goes to note that her power, she's not invulnerable. She's not Superman, okay? She's just that good at fighting. You can still scratch her. You can still cut her. So if you know anything about fighting, if you are a fighter and you know you're going up against Wonder Woman, you can easily poison her by scraping her because she does get cuts and bruises. Now she's kind of divine, but at the same time she can still get cuts and bruises. So she's not invulnerable like Superman. You're not gonna waste an entire clip as Superman and think he's gonna punch her skin because it's not, unless it's kryptonite. But in her case, you can fight her and actually cut her. So that's why the whole running around in the underwear. You see people who know how to fight, they be rolling their eyes at that because they're like, dude, all you gotta do is like get like a poison tipped arrow or something, and boom, you're good. You got her. So I mean, well, let's ask Vicky.
Let's ask Vicky. Let's see
Vicky, what do you think from a woman's perspective?
Okay, so I've really been only checking out like the TV show stuff from Comic-Con so far, and I haven't really sat down and really gone through. I actually sent one of the contributors for Fangirl Review out to Comic-Con this year, so she's covering it for me, so I'm basically just letting her run with it. So I just checked out this ensemble, if you will. I think it looks cool. I mean, I know a lot of fans are probably all upset. They're like, where's the traditional? So I know they're going to be upset. That's just what it is. But they'll be upset no matter what, so whatever. I like it. I think it looks kind of cool. It doesn't bother me. I mean, whatever. I knew she was going to be showing some skin. Whatever. Like, like I've already accepted that. She wasn't going to be covered up. And her assets were going to be put on display. I knew what it was walking into it. But I like the coloring. The coloring looks great. I mean, it will work well with her skin tone.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, this is not bad. I'm glad they went that route instead of because I really thought they was going to do the whole underwear bathing suit thing. I'm like, please don't do that with the thigh high boots. Just don't do that. Just really don't do that.
Looks like she needs a better wig though. They need to talk to Wendy Williams people. That wig looks horrible. I'm sorry. Wendy Williams got a production company now, so and she has her own line of wigs. They need to talk to her because that looks horrible.
Looks a little thin up there.
Ooh, looks like they just put it on her head. I don't know what they were thinking about that one.
I mean, again, this is an early photo. I think she's continuing to work out, so you won't. I want her to bulk up a little bit more. That's my thing. And it's to me, I don't feel like it's sexist because I wanted Superman to be bulky. And he had to bulk up for the part, and so did Batman. Ben Affleck had to bulk up for the part. So I hope that's not taken as a sexist thing because I just these are super strong, powerful characters. I just wanted to see them a little bit bulky, to display that. And again,
I mean, she does look like she got some meat on her bones.
Yeah, she's definitely a lot bulkier than she used to be. That's
she has some
very
meat.
Thin. She was very thin before. And again, with the uniform itself, this is a origin. I guarantee we'll still get the traditional. Hopefully at least the pants. I don't want the again. Like I can do without the beach bikini. But I would love to see the color of the pants. The blue, the gold trimming. In the woman area. The upper area. Get the W going. The gold W. All that's good stuff. I mean, I think we'll still get that. But again, this is a origin. So she is the warrior right now. She hasn't really. I don't think she's really going to be graduating to Wonder Woman until perhaps the next film. So, again, even Superman's outfit has changed, and there's some changes to his thing too. So, she'll change over time as well, I believe.
Yeah, and that's another thing. She's supposed to be an Amazon. So, to me, at this point, just looking at this, because I'm looking at the still right now, it looks fine. It looks fine. It's very Xena Warrior Princessy, but that's what it's supposed to look like.
Which is always a good thing. Always a good thing.
Yeah, always a good thing. Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Yes.
Me personally, like I said, I wouldn't have got Gal Gadot. I would have got Gina Carano. That's just me. But hey,
we stuck.
Yeah.
Gina Carano.
This is what we got. We got to accept it.
Yeah,
we got.
I know. So I mean, but right now, yeah, she looks fine. It looks just fine. I don't have a problem with it. I wanted to see the whole because supposedly at Comic-Con they did show like the first minute teaser trailer for it, but Warner Brothers is if you putting it up, Warner Brothers is taking it down.
Pulling it down.
Yeah. So apparently. I guess they're gonna put it on something. They're gonna slap it on something at some point soon. Because that's the only reason why they would take it down. Most stuff they let the trailers run, especially from Comic Con, they'll let it run unless it's about to come out soon.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're gonna put the teaser trailer up, even though I don't know why, since the movie isn't got pushed back to 2016.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to. I don't understand. I think they're trolling us. I feel like the movie's coming out next year. Well, they're already dropping all this production photos, and you don't really do that 2 years in advance.
2 years, okay, all right, yeah, because that was the only other thing I was talking about. But see, the problem is, well, if they're gonna do it next year, please, DC, do not get cocky and try to go up against Avengers.
No, that's dumb. That's dumb.
Just don't do it. I'm telling you right now, just don't do it. Because even
it's in your best interest not to do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
And I can see them all of a sudden like, oh, actually we're ready now, and they're gonna try to move it up. They're like, we can take them on, we can do it. There's some little short Napoleon person in the team that's going to be like, we can do it. I don't care how big Marvel is, and watch. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing chicken. I mean, play chicken for a little bit. Act like you're going to do it. To drum up fan interest, to get the fanboys riled up, and DC fanboys versus Marvel fanboys, and, do that. That's fun. That'll work out for both, but don't be stupid.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest with you. Even the people that claim to hate Avengers, there's a reason why Avengers made $200.7 million in 3 days.
Right.
There's a reason.
Right.
All those people that claim to hate it went back and saw it
twice
that weekend. Weekend.
As a DC fanboy, I saw it twice my damn self. So.
Yeah. I mean, hey, spoiler alert: Hulk goes crazy in the last 30 minutes of Avengers, and that's what sealed it for everybody.
Yes.
So, and he's going to have an even bigger part in Avengers 2, which is a fun segue into what we're talking about now. Marvel did show Avengers 2. They did an Avengers 2 panel at Comic Con, and I'm trying to look and see if it's on Geek Tyrant or not. They did show the full poster. Some people didn't show up, like Scarlett Johansson, because she's very pregnant. I think she's like due in a couple months, so she didn't show up, but she came on via video. They had her come on via video and answer a couple questions, say hi to everybody. They did not show the teaser trailer that a lot of people thought they were going to show, but they did talk about the movie. And Lou Ferrigno showed up, because apparently Lou Ferrigno is in Avengers 2 as well. So you got Hulk and 70s Hulk.
I love it. I love that kind of stuff. I'm glad
I love when they pop up somewhere in the background. You're like, hey.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis showed up as well, as did Josh Brolin. Now, if you don't know about Josh Brolin, at the end of Avengers 1, if you hadn't seen Avengers yet, shame on you. The stinger at the end was for Thanos, the Mad Titan. He's going to be the main villain of Avengers 3. So supposedly there's going to be a thing where he shows up at the end of Avengers 2, supposedly. So he showed up at Comic-Con in both the Avengers panel and the Guardians of the Galaxy panel, at the end of the Avengers panel, to just show up and have the gauntlet in his hand. So
Brolin's playing Thanos?
Yeah, Brolin's playing Thanos.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So they had that. They did show a picture. They did show some. So I think I want to say they said they showed. Yeah, they did show a little bit of footage that showed Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And it looks like they took the Marvel Ultimate route with both of those, as making Scarlet Witch a little bit more gothy, kinda. I don't know why they did that, but it's way better than what she normally wears. Because you think Wonder Woman's bad. Wait till you see how they draw Scarlet Witch. Woo!
I want to say Scarlett Johansson. She got to step her game up, because you know what I'm saying. Because I remember a few years ago, MIA. She was on stage rapping with Jay-Z. She was damn near about to give birth.
Yeah.
So yeah, Scarlett, get in there.
So it's one of those things where I think it's gonna be just fine. I think they got a couple of surprises in there. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but in the stock footage that they have that showed up in Entertainment Weekly, Don Cheadle is going to be in the movie for a little bit. So War Machine does show up in Avengers 2. So I guess he's going to be helping out, I guess.
Cool.
Who knows? So what do you guys think about Avengers 2? And is it something that you're looking forward to, Vicky?
I mean, I'm invested in the whole Marvel world. They have my credit card number. They know me. So,
Okay.
like at this point in time, I was like, okay, what am I spending this time, Marvel? Oh, okay, no problem. Swipe. Like that's just what it is. So I'm looking forward to Avengers. I'm just hoping that one day they'll sneak in Ghost Rider somewhere. That's just what I want, just because that's my favorite guy.
Okay.
And I know they just got the rights back to him, so hopefully he'll pop in there somewhere. So that's really all I'm looking forward to, is the day that Ghost Rider pops in somewhere.
Just pops in the background, just helps out.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh! So you'll hear my squeal from New Jersey when that happens.
I wish they could get Spider-Man and Wolverine and put them in there, but hey, that's yeah. Freaking Sony. Mr. T, what you think? You looking forward to Avengers? You think they're gonna suffer from sequelitis or anything?
I have no worries about sequelitis happening with Avengers 3. I guess I'm a little bit of a Joss Whedon fanboy, so I just feel like he ain't gonna mess it up. I just feel like, the guy's been doing this thing for a long time. I'm glad he's finally getting his due in the movie world. And I think he's gonna, take the bull by the horns and keep it going. As a DC fanboy, I'm quite jelly of the Marvel movie universe because we all know Warner Brothers is slipping over there. They should have got this thing going. I'm still of the mindset that they should have just took that L with Green Lantern, and just said, okay, the movie didn't do well, so what? We're still gonna bounce from this movie and continue on, and bring back Ryan Reynolds and keep it going. That's how I feel like. Because if you look at a Hulk movie, the Incredible Hulk, it didn't do that great.
No, it didn't.
They didn't care. They just they took the L and they kept moving. They had a little thing at the end, that tied into Iron Man. So they didn't care. And I feel like Warner Brothers, they're too tepid sometimes. They just take the L and keep it moving, son.
Yeah, because you're right. Because what happened was basically because the even though people liked Incredible Hulk later on, it didn't do that well at the box office for what they spent.
No.
For what they spent, it didn't do that well. I personally didn't understand why people were hating, but I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Same thing with Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 did not do that well, but the thing is, they had a plan and they stuck to it.
Right.
To be in all honesty, Green Lantern was not a bad movie. The problem with Green Lantern was they stayed on Earth too damn long.
Well, there's many problems, but
but the main problem was that you're like, dude, put it to you like this right here. If you saw a Voltron movie and they stayed on Earth in New York City, it would be stupid, right? Because Voltron is out in space fighting, the Hell Beasts and all those.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you be on Earth for a movie that's supposed to be in space?
Right. And what annoys me is they kept touting, oh, this is the Star Wars of superhero movies. I'm like, where are the stars? We wasn't in the stars for that very long. We were
in the stars for about 10 minutes, and then we were back on Earth.
Green Lantern is not that well known of a character if you're not, in the DC universe, if you're not a comic book fan. So, this is his origin story. Yeah. You got to spend some time originating this dude, Start off, in space. Start off on the planet Aura, and really build up the character, and then move on and show what happened and why he left, and really get into that stuff. The movie just went by so quick, especially the quote unquote origins. It's just but
my gosh.
The editing was just terrible. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on. Like I said, they should have took the L. I still feel that way.
Mhm.
and just build on from there. Marvel, like I said, Marvel, I feel like even if Guardians of the Galaxy don't do that great, and I'm a little worried that it might not.
Mhm.
I feel like even if it doesn't do that great, they're not gonna care. They're gonna take the L and keep them characters on and keep them moving. So
Yeah.
DC, come on.
You're not gonna win all of them,
No,
especially
you're not.
if you're doing it like this. You're not gonna win all of them because some of them just aren't gonna be as good as others. And like you said with Green Lantern, it wasn't that well known to begin with, and on top of that, even less people know about Hal Jordan. More people know about John
Right.
Stewart
That was
because
another
that's
thing.
who you
Yes.
used in the cartoon show.
Right. Yeah, if they
That's
would have just done that to begin with,
yeah.
that
I
would
mean,
have been my argument. But because they already went with Ryan Reynolds, Hal Jordan, they should just continue on and keep it going.
yeah.
Don't
So
keep
I mean,
moving further.
yeah, and that was the thing with that one. So me personally, okay, Warner Brothers, you're up. So we already know what we're gonna get with Marvel because, like I said, they planned it out. So we know that. So now you just need to have a sit down, have a plan, and go forward from there. Now the last couple things I want to talk about is the TV shows that's coming out. And we're gonna start with Flash. I actually got a chance to see the pilot for Flash during the supposed leak, which I really don't think was a leak. I think they were using it to gauge interest.
Yeah.
I really don't think it was a leak because people were starting to get a little bit tired of Arrow. So I think what they did was they leaked it to see if how people were going to react to it. Me personally, I got a chance to see it. I enjoyed it. They did change up the characters a little bit. Iris West, and her dad is now played by Jesse. I forgot the guy's name. He's from NYPD Blue, and Iris is played by one of the Patton girls. I cannot remember her first name.
Mm.
I can't remember her first name. Anyway, and you got Grant Gustin, I think his name is playing Barry Allen, and it was not bad. They actually had a lot of the comedy in it that people like from Flash. It was very Flash-like. I think this one's gonna actually be fine. It depends on how they play things out, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing this Flash. I already have talked about the suit enough for Flash. While it does look good when they put special effects on it, he don't need to be walking around the city looking like that. He needs to run everywhere in that thing.
He needs to be a Red Flash.
Yeah. It kind of looks like the biker leather that Ben Affleck wore in Daredevil. It kind of looks like that. So when I saw him walk around in the pilot, I was like, this ain't gonna work. But then when they showed it in motion, it worked. So it's one of those things, the trade-off. And they actually came up with a good excuse to why it looks like it looks, but whatever. Vicky, did you actually get a chance to either see or either get any hear any of the interviews about Flash?
See, I'm not invested in the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I have said this many times about the CW. I'm going to keep saying it until I feel as though they need to give me a formal apology from Smallville. Yes, I need a formal apology from the CW for what they did to me and many of the fans because of Smallville. With Superman flying for 0.5 seconds. It was, what was that, 10 seasons, I think that show was?
Yeah, 10 seasons.
I watched every single one, and look what happened to me. Therefore, I did not watch Arrow, because I had such bad taste in my mouth for superhero. Yeah, I was scarred. So I'm not on the fence. I'm still on the other side.
You're not even close to the fence.
Yeah, deciding if I'm going to climb on the fence.
Okay.
Before I jump onto the other side. So I'm just looking at the fence, and I'm deciding if I'm going to climb it.
Okay. So
a lot of times I'm just listening to what you say, Jay, and maybe you convince me down the line. I'm going to wait and see.
Okay.
I might put it on the DVR. If it doesn't conflict with anything, it might go on the DVR, and I will check it out then. Otherwise, I'm not investing in it because they broke my heart before, so they just gotta bear with me until I'm ready emotionally.
Okay. All right. T, T, what about you?
Well, I'm over the fence, laying on the lawn, sipping a mai tai. I'm really excited about this show. I haven't seen the leaked, quote unquote leaked pilot, but I have seen the extended trailer, and I'm really impressed. For a television show, the visual effects look really good to me. And I don't know, I just love the feel of it. It feels fun. It's not all dark and brooding like
Yeah.
like our Arrow over there.
Yeah.
So it looks, yeah, it brings more of that fun kind of DC stuff out, and I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I mean, I like the character who's playing him. I also don't like the suit, so yes, keep running. But I think over time we'll get a better suit. I really like the suit from the old show, except for it was a little anatomically
You mean
overbearing.
the 20 pack? Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that old suit though. Other than that stuff, they could have toned that down a little bit. But hope they go back to somewhere in between. I don't really care for the biker look. I don't really know what the inspiration was on that. But yeah, that's my only gripe so far. I am looking forward to this show, and I don't really watch a lot of TV shows these days. I don't really have the time. And for me to be looking forward to a TV show, it's pretty big. So yeah, that's
All
my
right.
take.
Okay. And there's two more things I want to talk about, and then we're gonna wrap up. But they didn't do I didn't get to see, I should say, the thing on Gotham with that's coming out on Fox about Detective Gordon in the early days of Gotham City before Bruce takes on the whole Batman thing. Um, but from a fan standpoint, I'm actually looking forward to this to see what they do with it. It's gonna be on Fox, so I'm gonna say it right now. Fox is not the place to
Mm,
be for stuff that's geek related, I
mm,
should say, because they are quick to cancel stuff that's actually doing good in the ratings. I'll leave that to your imagination of what I'm talking about. So,
Research.
yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna check it out, but it looks to see. The problem is we've seen the Batman origin story so many doggone times. I'm tired of seeing everybody's take on it.
Right.
All right, I'm sick of seeing everybody's take on it. I'm like, dude, I get it. His parents got killed in the doggone alley because he was being a punk. I get it.
Mm,
I'm sorry. I'm tired of seeing everybody's take on it. It's just like with Spider-Man. I'm tired of seeing everybody's take on it. I know it already. You know, I know it. I'm tired of seeing it. But if after that episode, because I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the first episode, after that's taken care of, it'll be nice to see how they do it chronicling Jim Gordon. I only had a couple problems that I've read about it, where the whole thing about they're gonna have somebody playing somebody who could possibly be the Joker in every episode. I'm like, they don't need to do that. They really don't need to do that.
don't do that.
Yeah, they really don't need to do that. But hey, I mean, whatever. If they do that, I'm like, this is gonna get old quick.
Yeah, I
So
don't want little Bruce Wayne going to school with little Joker. That's just
yeah,
not
yeah,
something I'm looking forward to seeing.
yeah. So I mean, okay, hey, I don't know about that. And then they talked about Constantine. I'm not a real big Constantine fan. I don't really like the comic that much. So I mean, I might give it a shot. Who knows? Depends on what night it comes on. Because I don't think they solidified the night for that one yet. Fox, we know. I think it's Monday night. Flash is gonna be. I think Green Arrow's gonna be on Tuesday. Flash gonna be on Wednesday. So we kind of know those. But Constantine, I don't know what the night that's gonna be on. So it just depends if I have time to watch that one or not. T, got any thoughts on Gotham and Constantine?
I feel like Gotham is going to be a train wreck.
Oh,
I don't want it to be, but I just feel like for me, they have to keep Bruce Wayne to a minimum. They have to. I don't want to see Bruce Wayne, getting beat up at lunch, getting his lunch money taken and all. I don't want to see any of that. And if they keep him to a minimum and focus more on Gordon, yes, that's fine. If it's just a crime drama, basically set in Gotham, I'm cool with that. But like you said, there's some, red flags. Obviously, Fox being one of them. The only other station I would worry more about is NBC.
Yeah.
It was on NBC because nothing lasts on NBC today. So yeah, if they stay away from, trying to force feed us, Bruce Wayne in elementary school, then and don't give me super villains in school. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't need that. If they stay away from that and they give us some really interesting stories with Gordon's character. I'm all for that. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Like exploring, more of Gotham. Give me some of the Narrows, bring some of that stuff in, that you don't really get to see in the movies that they're not able to take time on. And as far as what was it, Constantine TV show, it's completely off my radar. I mean, I've seen little blips about it. I think I saw a little teaser, but the movie.
The movie was all right.
The movie was meh. It was okay. Like I could see why they would try to do something with the TV show. It could be really interesting. Hopefully, a lot more interesting than the movie was. Because they have to have the right character to play Constantine. So that's the most important thing to me. They got to have the right guy to exude his character. And then, yeah, you can do some really cool stuff, but I feel like it will get repetitive really quickly.
Yeah.
So, they got to be doing some interesting stuff with it. But yeah, that's my take.
All right. Vicky, you got any thoughts on Gotham and Constantine?
I don't think Gotham's gonna be that bad. I mean, it's gonna go on my DVR as long as it does not conflict with anything that I already watched. And I mean, I'm hoping for the best with Gotham. I'm hoping for the best. Constantine, whatever. I mean, the movie was okay, so I mean, I'll have to check it out. I'll wait and see.
Yeah.
That might be, when is it on Netflix type thing?
Gotcha. Okay.
And go from there. But I guess my question is, we're talking about all these different TV show, comic book type things, but where's iZombie? You guys did not mention that.
That's because I haven't heard about that. What is that?
What?
Yeah, I haven't heard about it.
That makes two of us.
Oh my gosh, where have you guys been? Okay, iZombie comic book series, in part of like DC, sorta, kinda. And it's going to be made into a TV show on the CW. Where have you guys been?
Oh, that's why I don't.
There goes my DC fanboy street cred.
Well, I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really didn't hear about iZombie. The only thing I know about iZombie was a blip that it was supposed to show at Comic-Con like yesterday afternoon, but I didn't see it. I didn't see the conference or anything about it. So I'm completely oblivious to that one, but I can check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, my brother picked up the comic book for me when it came out, and I was like, oh, this is cool. He knows I like zombies and weird stuff. Okay. So I read the comic, and I thought it was cool. I need to continue reading it. I read the volume 1. I need to keep going. But I thought it was fun. I was interested. Then when I saw something about the CW lineup about iZombie being on there, I was like, oh, cool. It looks like it'll be fun.
Is it like zombie, or is it like iZombie like the iPod or something?
Yeah, iZombie like an iPod.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to look that one up because I honestly didn't know about that one. I just saw a blip on it, and I didn't even see the actual conference from whatever hall they were in. So. Yeah, I'll have to look that one up. So you have my apologies, people. If you are an iZombie fan, I apologize.
I think you can just apologize to me, but okay.
So my last one I want to bring up is one that I kind of didn't like until like midway last year. I actually stopped watching it until like Sif from Thor showed up, and that's Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It got better when she showed up. When Sif from Thor showed up, Jamie Alexander showed up and did her episode, that's when it started getting good to me. Before then, it was kind of like stupid and dumb, but then started getting good. Then they tied it into Captain America, Winter Soldier, and I'm like, at that point, I'm like, I'm hooked again. So, we got season 2 coming up. Patton Oswalt's supposed to have a bigger role in it. What are you thinking about season 2? You think it's going to be something to keep watching, or is it going to fall into that whole? It's going to be boring for this stretch of period, then it's going to probably get back good right around Avengers.
I think. I mean, because I completely agree with you. The show, the first couple episodes, I was like, okay, all right. And then all of a sudden, it got completely pathetic. And I'm like, why am I even watching this? And it's an hour-long show, so you have to really commit yourself. And then I fell like 3 episodes behind, and at that point, I was like, I don't even want to watch this crap anymore. And then they did the Thor episode. I was like, okay, you got me back. Because I think that the tie-ins to the movies saved that show. It was on life support, and they were going to pull the plug, even though there was still some brain activity. Like, it was just so bad. But then they got it back on track. So I am concerned about where the movie tie-in is going to be. I mean, they really have to sit down and either reveal more about Sky's past so we can become more invested in the characters, or just start throwing various actors from the movies in there. That's the one or two things they can do, or do both, to keep us there until the Avengers comes out, or to make it through season 2.
Okay. T, what's your thoughts?
I'm sorry, but this show is like a bad relationship. After 2 or 3 episodes, I broke up with her. I couldn't. I mean,
you didn't even try to make it work.
No, I couldn't make it work. That's the thing about a bad relationship. It's like there's a couple of really good times that make you think maybe we should try to keep this going, and it'll come out, good at the end. But I don't. I feel like you got to get out of there now, because to me it's like that's the problem. The problem is the movies. And it's so dependent on what's going on in that storyline that they can't go up and do anything really, cool and different. And that's the problem. I think that's what's holding this show back. It's weird that the movies is what's holding the show back. You would think, that wouldn't be the case, but because they're so dependent on keeping this all in the same world. Like, because, I want to see a Thor come in every once in a while and do his thing and, that kind of stuff. And you're not going to get that on a TV show because it's going to affect what happened in the movies. Like, this is supposed to be running real time, basically, to the Marvel movie world. So that's why I don't think you're going to have those lulls. You're going to have those meh episodes, that they're just going to, it's good for marketing because it's going to keep people who love the movies to hang on to that relationship. It's basically, I feel like that's basically what it's there for, to keep you interested and involved when the movies aren't happening. And then bam, here comes the movies, guys. So it's going to get really interesting now. Come back, And for me, that doesn't work. Especially, like I said, I don't watch a lot of TV shows, and if you're doing that to me as a TV show, I'm breaking up. I'm breaking up. I'm out.
All right. Well, here's my take on it. Here's the thing. I like that they want to make it, run real time with the movie verse, because nobody's ever did it before. And when they did it with Captain America, it worked beautifully, because if you didn't watch that episode that Tuesday, when you walked in that movie theater on Thursday night or Friday, you didn't get some of the stuff that happened in the first 20 minutes of that movie. You actually had to watch that episode to get some stuff that happened in the first 20 minutes and stuff that happened later on in the movie. They gave little hints. And then you had to watch the Tuesday after the movie came out, because they had actually the epilogue that you saw in the movie. There was actually another one that was with the TV show. So, I mean, I liked it because it never did that before. Now, I agree with you, T. In that respect, they really shouldn't do that. But they can get around that, but they're going to have where, Thor shows up. Have an episode where Loki shows up. or have an episode where Chris Evans shows up.
Right.
Chris Evans needs some help. Because at the end of Winter Soldier, spoiler alert, he goes looking for Bucky. You could have an episode where Chris Evans shows up, and you don't even have to put him in the Captain America suit. You don't have to. Just have him show up and be like, look, man, I'm looking for Bucky. Have it where they're trying to help him find Bucky for an episode and run into something else that'll probably go into Avengers 2 that'll be a little bit off.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can do that, but you're right. It's gonna be held back a little bit because they are melding. They're trying to make it one whole cohesive universe, but at the same time, it could probably help it out if they play it smart. But they need to play it smart. They don't need to have those lulls because, like I said, it was like a good 2.5 months, Vicky,
Right.
before they had a good episode again.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I don't want to live through it again.
Yeah.
And see, I mean, that's the thing is that people, oh yeah, let's just throw these guys in there, but there's so much behind putting Chris Evans in the show, because he doesn't have a deal with the show. He doesn't have to show up. He's doing other movies. He's doing other things as well. There's scheduling conflicts. There's licensing, and there's all kinds of contract issues. There's all kind of stuff that goes into that. So he can't just show up on the show and do his thing, because of all that background stuff. So I understand that. And but yeah, it's like you were saying, is that if you're gonna go 2 months, with meh. And then try to hit me up, when the movies come out. See, I think my thing is that I have a bad taste in my mouth for that. Like this is, like you were saying, this is a really innovative thing that they're doing. I love it for that. Like I was in tune for that, but they didn't keep it going. The implementation of it didn't work out as well for me, because to me it harkened back to, dare I say, what was happening with the video games and the sequels to The Matrix.
Oh yeah.
It felt like the Animatrix, if you don't watch the Animatrix, you won't understand this part in the movie. And if you don't play the video game, you won't get this part in Matrix Reloaded. And, all that stuff. It gave me that bad taste. It harkened back to that for me. So I'm a little biased because of that. But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That was really inventive and, at the time as well. But the implementation of it wasn't that great. And I feel like that's what's happening with this show for me. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I completely understand. It's one of those things where they kind of shot themselves in the foot, but they can still kind of make it work.
Yeah, they can still make this work. They can turn it around for sure.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it won't take much for Robert Downey Jr. to show up.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it won't take much. I mean, let's be honest. He'll probably just do it just because you give him something.
But he like that money though.
Yeah.
So
add this into that contract for Avengers 3. That's gonna be toward my paycheck. Wait a minute, you're doing this episode for free? Right. Man.
I don't blame him. Go get your money, son.
But I mean, it would be nice if they did, or they could just, everybody want to see Luke Cage. Everybody want to see Luke Cage, Marvel. Everybody want to see, Black Panther, Marvel.
Give us some Blade in there, even,
Yeah, you can throw an episode with Blade in there, Marvel. We know y'all got them characters back. Right. Y'all do a Netflix. If y'all gonna do a Netflix show, hey, there's no excuse to why they can't pop up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's where that is. But I hope everybody enjoyed our little discussion tonight about diversity and our little discussion about a little bit of Comic-Con anyway. Because everybody knows there's more that goes into Comic-Con nowadays than just the comics. So I hope you enjoyed our little discussion. Vicky, why don't you give your outro?
It was fun. I did come in a little bit late, but I enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me. This is Vicky from FangirlReview.com.
All right, and T.
Hey, fools, it's Mr. T of the Mr. T Show. You already know. And it was another wonderful episode. I look forward to the next.
All right, and everybody, it's me, Jay, and we will be doing this. Our next episode will be in another couple weeks. If you do have a topic that you would like us to discuss or something, now remember, it has to be pertaining to comics at least comics and movies, or one or the other. We can't talk about everything. Um, just send an email out to jntsfreshtake@gmail.com. You should see it in the About section on YouTube, or you could just hit us up on Gmail. I usually check at least once or twice a day, so just have a look at that and leave us any comments that you have, and we will see you next time. Have a good day.